Thank you, man.
Okay. All right. Now I have to back up a little bit. Um, thanks for pointing that out. I completely neglected to hit record. Because of that, I have to go back here just for recording purposes. Announce this is the weekend session, the Lambos Trading Group. Flash the disclaimer. This is, and I'm just covering myself legally for when I post these on YouTube. I don't want to be taken down. Um, Again, we are discussing the Triple Rim Lambos indicator on TradingView, and we're using some of our favorite indicators. We're discussing some of our favorite indicators that we're using in TradingView to create alerts that will let us know when certain events happen on the market that we want to be aware of that we can use to trade on. So going back to TradingView, I've written a script. It's called ATP BS. Uh, what it is the average trending rate over 99 days, and it's showing indicators where it thinks I should buy and sell. And on these indicators, I can attach alerts, and I can have that alert be sent to an email, or I can send it to a webhook, and I can have like a website like IFTTT, ifthenThat.com. If then that, for all of you developer folks out there, this is a great site. What it allows you to do is connect your accounts that you have in different things like Twitter or Dropbox or TradingView or Gmail. And you can use this if any new SMS is received, then send an email to Gmail. And there's also another one where um, if you receive a Gmail, you can then receive an SMS, or you can send that signal to, say, a bot that will place a trade for you. So my overall strategy with this indicator that I'm building is to automate things. So Jarek, a few minutes ago, was just, I believe it was in the last video, was discussing how he looks at his RSI to cross certain thresholds, his MACD to also have two indicators cross over each other, and the SMAs, that the simple moving averages of 9-day, 27-day, and 180-day. When those things cross over, what I'm trying to do is build that logic into my indicator that can then, send an alert to an email, and then that email can either send me an SMS or connect to my TradingView account and do the trade for me. And a couple of the things that I'm trying to incorporate are entries and exits and um, risk ranges. And that's another indicator. I'm going to turn mine off for a second. I found this other indicator from the editor's picks, and it does a really nice job of showing you, um, based on what you want your profit to be in dollars. So we're penny stock traders. We have this set at $1, but this can adjust like how much range you can have, and you can adjust it to, where the exit is, so you know what your profit margin is. And you can also set the stop losses so that you can do shorts, right? So you do a short entry here, and you actually make money in this red zone, and then you flip it, you go into a long entry, you do a buy, and then it exits at this point in this range. And so what I've started in my indicator is based on actually something that was written by another developer for a thing called Gunbot. And Gunbot is actually for like DeFi and Bitcoin. But the logic that he uses and the way that this looks, I really like the aesthetic of it. It shows you when the buy happens, how long it goes for, and then when to flip and sell. And again, the idea here is that this would automatically send signals to the email. The email would trigger a trade, and that trade would happen within a couple of seconds of this signal being sent. And that's what I'm trying to achieve with my script. So right now, I've borrowed a little bit from a couple of other scripts, and I'm trying to incorporate things like this bracketing into mine. So I'm in the process right now of looking at their source code, right? Which shows this is some of what I was talking about with Jarek's stuff. I can say, if I see a crossover and what I'm looking for is the SMA to cross 14, or I'm sorry, the SMA 14-day average to cross over the 28, that tells me there's a long condition. And that's what it's painting up here in this green area, right? And it's going to paint this arrow and this long entry text. And it's going to give me these indicators. See, if I turn that stuff back off, you know, that's actually being painted by this this script. And this is some of the strength of TradingView and why I purchased my subscription. And so when I was looking through some of the editor picks, one of the ones that came up, which is just simply amazing, is this EE setup one. And I was looking at this. This is way advanced, and this is kind of where I'd like ours to get to. But right now, I'm just kind of starting, you know, I'm in the very early stages of it. But this thing is pretty amazing. I'm going to just put the editor away, and I got to stretch this a little bit so you can see what's going on here. I'm going to go to Twitter because this was the big one for me this week. And it takes a second, but what just happened there is first the chart loaded, and then that script loaded. Let me just pull up their source code here. And you can see this lock back here. I can't edit any of this, but this is the script that these people wrote. Very advanced. And it does a whole lot of stuff, does a lot of calculations, and all those calculations, and this is where my script will probably end up. That's the intent, is to show these amazing extensions. I'm going to hide this for a second. And it shows, I'm just going to pull this down. Like on Twitter this week, it was kind of nuts. Like all of these anger sellers who I was describing earlier, you know, all these guys who are mad because Trump lost and they're trying to, you know, bankrupt Twitter. I'll just put this week, right, from here's like the inauguration and stuff like that. And you've got all these guys who are, and they had a pretty good run on Wednesday, but it came back. And what was happening in this indicator is it was showing all of these sell extension zones, right? And so if you were trying to do shorts, you could, it's showing you like the setups way back here for a sell setup, right? So if you were trying to do shorts, this would tell you it's got, if you look closely, it's got these little rectangles around the area that it identifies. Like Jarek was just talking about, when you see these little indicators, what it does is it does that for you. It says, hey, I just identified these three things. I'm seeing a setup and it starts to draw like why, you know, how many things in a row did you see? I saw two things in a row that tell me this is setting up for a bear, right? How many were in the previous? And this is just information that these developers felt was relevant to their indicator and that they're going on. And I think some of it's relevant to our stuff, and I'm going to, you know, take from their example and try to incorporate that into mine. But, you know, I'm a little amazed at the indicator that this is giving me, because it's giving me hope for this week. And that is this bullish price flip that happened right at the end of the day, or just in the aftermarket at the end of Friday, which tells me that I might finally see my profit just like happen this week. And so that's got me really stoked. So again, I see indicators like this, and it's doing some really hardcore analysis that, you know, Jarek is sitting there and watching intently during the day, which I'd like to automate, so that, because as I was saying in another previous video, I'm a lazy man, but I'm technically oriented. And so I'm trying to find that happy place and build this indicator that's going to give me these signals, and share it with the group, because I think it'd be beneficial to everybody who's here. And I would only really share things like this with people that I built trust with. And so I trust you guys. And at this point, I'm going to just kind of stop talking, and I'd like to hear anybody who'd like to contribute. Any of you developers out there, what do you want to see? I mean, what have I shown you so far that looks good? You know, what, you know, if you go to the editor's picks and you start looking through here and you see something that you like, oh, there's these Fibonacci numbers that I really like, or there's these ranges that they can paint. Can we do something like this? You know,
hi everyone.
Shush. But, you know, if you want to get fancy and stuff like that, we could. I think some of this stuff is a little, you know, over the top. I don't know that you need this many indicators and all this stuff going on in your charts to like tell you some of the simple things that'll, you know, like Jarek was describing earlier, just, you know, oversold, RSI bouncing off of 50, MACD lines crossing, and SMAs crossing. If you get, you know, the trifecta there, and we can build that into my or our indicator, I think that would be brilliant. And so what do you guys think? Please chime in. Anybody who wants to speak. Anybody? Ranish, Keeg, Sandro, Dehendra? Who asked for the recording? Unmute yourself. You might have to. Anyone? Come on, guys. This is for all of us.
Yes, I think what you mentioned would be great to incorporate. You know, like the RSI, SMAs, the view up.
So let's pull up RSI. Here, I need to get rid of a couple of these. 1 second here. I need to, that one, and that one. I can always bring them back, and then I go RSI. So we definitely need that RSI, and we need that 50% line. So the numbers that he had described in RSI were 30, 50, and 70. So we definitely want to add the RSI triggers. So I'm going to leave that on this chart for my use, because really this discussion is for me to like know what to look for and what I want to incorporate in this. So RSI is one. What was the other one we said? MACD?
MACD. The VWAP.
All right. VWAP. I'm going to put that as a favorite. Favorite. RSI. Okay. And then SMA.
SMA, yeah.
All right. I'll just star that one, but and then I'll just put mine away. And then what was that again? MACD moving, simple moving average. And on the simple moving average, we want, what did he say? 9
days.
9 days, 28 days, and 9, 14, 28, and then I think 180 is the right one for that. And then yeah, we don't need that many. We can have up to 10, but we only need 3. So okay. So those are the indicators. I'm just gonna look to see what his indicators are telling me. I want to settings 914 source close. I'll have to add those hot spots, the 30, 50, 70. I'm looking at Twitter. Looks like, yeah, we've got above, so it's oversold or overbought here, and then we got a MACD cross. So okay, so that looks like the stuff that I need to really get incorporated here. Anything else anybody can think of? Again, I'd like to put in things like those risk ranges, and I'm gonna just turn these off a second. VWAP. And then, you know, like I said, eventually I'd like to get it to where, you know, we put out like a lot of information that's useful and stuff like that, but we need to, we'll have discussions in the future about what we want to see there. I'll put stuff that I think is relevant, but as we move forward and stuff like that, you know, any of you developer guys who want to contribute on this, I can make it so that, you know, I can put it in GitHub or something like that. I don't know if you guys have GitHub accounts, but you know, once I get to a certain point, I can copy this back over to Visual Studio Code and then check it into GitHub if any of you are interested in contributing. But VWAP, OBB, volume, RSI, Bollinger Bands is one that I use a lot. And does anybody need a discussion on Bollinger Bands? Do you guys know what they are?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I was gonna mention that, but I just saw it on your.
No worries, no worries. Put that down. I'm gonna close. I know we need RSI, so I don't need that guy. And we can close him. And this guy. This is the one I use. It's got this strategy built in. I'm still, you know, strategies are, things that there's an object called a strategy, which is different than a study. And strategies will actually do some this back testing and give you all of this information that I'm not sure what it is yet. Yeah, I'm still figuring it out. But it from what I've seen, it does a back test, and what a back test means is it goes back and it looks like through this 180-day range, and it analyzes all these candlesticks, and it figures out, like, if you had made a trade at the indicators that it shows here, and those indicators are based on those crossovers that we were just talking like that. Here's what your net profits would be, gross profits, longs, and stuff like that. And looks like this one would be in the red. So that's what the strategy tester is back testing. My indicator, shoot, doesn't have those yet, but the Bollinger Bands themselves, Bollinger Bands, there we go. So Bollinger Bands, and these are a big indicator too, because what they indicate is kind of like the pressure that's going on a particular day in a trade, right? What the support and the resistance lines were in this kind of historical, it looks like a cloud, but what it is what was the support and the resistance lines for a particular time zone. And what you'll see is this midline, and you'll see I got about 10 minutes here, so this will be the end of the sessions for today, and I'll post all the videos. What you see is this midline, and that midline is important for when the candlesticks start to cross it. You'll notice that there's a bottom band and a top band, and that's kind of like sentiment, right? The high sentiment and the low sentiment for a given candlestick. And that starts to end up looking like this trend line. And what you'll end up getting is squeezes. So generally, when a Bollinger Band squeezes, it's about to make a move in one direction or the other. So you'll see right here where it squeezed. Oops, come on. Right here where it squeezed, it started going down, and then it squeezed, it got wider at the bottom. Come on. And started to go up. And it's when it crosses is when you want to start doing your buy-ins, right? So when it bottoms out, you can send yourself a signal that says to get in. And when it crosses over, that's still a good time to get in, because it's going to go up still. And perhaps somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but Bollinger Bands and RSI I use in combination. Let me close this guy, and I want the RSI, and I want to that's not what I wanted to do. Move down. When you have a crossover of 50 on the RSI, and you have your candlesticks cross the Bollinger Band middle, the 50 percentile, that's a signal to buy, generally speaking. And so that's one of the signals that I want to build into this. This is a signal that I actually use over in my crypto bot that I use to trade Bitcoins, right? So doing DeFi's and stuff like that. I have an automated bot that just, it uses the 50% mark of the Bollinger Band and the 50% mark of the RSI. And when those both cross over, that tells my bot to go buy whatever coin that is that it's monitoring. So like Ethereum, right? It'll buy up Ethereum thinking, okay, these two things just triggered, which is the crossover of the RSI and the crossover of the Bollinger Band. And depending on which direction it'll go, it'll either buy or sell. So if both are crossing over down, it'll buy a short and it'll short that. And then once it sees that it starts to go up, maybe I think I have it set at 3%, then it'll sell. So I won't get this entire drop, but it'll get me in just below it and it'll get me out just as it starts to rise. So I'll get the full, this many pips in the middle. And going back to my indicator, that's what I want those buy and sell triggers to do is. And so Bollinger Bands, again, for the sake of the, what they are, it's just kind of an indicator of the sentiment for buyers and sellers. And this goes back to, if I go to Robinhood, and I go to like MACD, and I go to, where's the LS2? I don't know if I have LS2 on here, but if you've ever seen like an order book in action, you'll see, shoot, let me see if I can find it. See, trading order book. Images. An order book looks like this. Right, you've got this pressure, and it's basically like how many buyers versus sellers are there, and who's the bigger group, right? Are there more buyers than sellers at a given time? And what this range is out here is like, what are the buyers interested in selling? Are they interested in buying at 418 and 40 cents? Well, more people are interested in buying it at 418 and 10 cents. They've got their orders in at a lower price. And so what you're looking at here is this sentiment, right? A lot of buyers, they're willing to buy if the price drops down to 418.10. And these guys over here, they're willing to sell if the price goes up to 418.70. And what happens is when a trade happens is when they meet in the middle. And that's the number that you're seeing reflected on a chart. That's what these numbers, that's what this little flickering number is right there, is, that meeting in the middle. That's whatever that price is that's meeting in the middle. And so what you're seeing on those candlesticks is this mid price, or this price where they're meeting in the middle, over time is doing one of these things across these prices. And that's what you're seeing in the candlestick. And the Bollinger Band is kind of showing this end and this end, right? But because you're looking vertically at what the candlestick is drawing, right? So if you took this green part here, and this price right here, and this sell price here, and you turn it sideways, what you're looking at is the green part here, the price where they met in the middle, and the lower part there. That's that orange, right? So you have the green, the mid, the orange. You have the green, the mid, and the orange. If you turned it sideways, that would be that candlestick and that Bollinger Band. You get it? So does that Does that make sense to everyone? Right? So,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so that's the green, that's that in the middle price, and that's that red that you saw. And it's turned sideways. And that's that slice of time right there. And so the Bollinger Band, when these peaks start to lower, right? And these guys start to lower, like, you know, there's not as many people interested in buying this stuff, and there are definitely not as many people interested in buying it at 418.70, and there's fewer people who are interested in I'm sorry, these folks over here selling. There's fewer people over here buying. I'm running out of time here, but that's what the Bollinger Band is. So just to wrap up the presentation, since we're running out of time, that's the indicators. That's what Bollinger Bands are. And for my information, the feedback that I just got for you guys is priceless. And again, thanks for joining for all the sessions this morning. I know it's been a long morning. We got started about 3 hours ago. I'll post all these to my YouTube channel and post the link in the WhatsApp. And, you know, wishing everybody happy trading this week and successful trading. And hopefully some of this work that I can share with you guys will, you know, make that all happen for us. So thanks for joining.
Thank you for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. Seriously.
We'll see you in the funny pages. Have a great day, everyone.